the special discussion. After enabling women with 26 weeks of paid maternity leave, men in India now ask for their due. In response to the Indian men, Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi said that they don't deserve it. Maneka Gandhi said that Indian men would treat paternity leave as another holiday. Men, on the other hand, lash back at the minister for calling them irresponsible. Listen in.
Silence, please. Please, silence, please.
It's been 2 weeks since the Rajya Sabha cleared the maternity benefit bill, allowing 26 weeks of maternity leave for working mothers in the organised sector. Post its approval, there has been a growing demand for paternity leave for fathers as well. Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi, who advocated for paternity leave for women in India, however, did not trust Indian men. Speaking in response to the request for 4 weeks paternity leave for men, she claimed that if given the option to avail of paternity leave, men would not do anything. I will be happy to give it, but for a man it will be just a holiday. He won't do anything. If men gave me an iota of hope by taking sick leave for childcare, then yes, we can think of mooting a proposal for paternity leave. It is disheartening to know that not only did Maneka Gandhi fail to acknowledge equality in parental leave policy, but her reasons behind not pushing for enhanced paternity leave is alarming. India still remains outside the cluster of 78 nations which offer decent paid paternity leave. Since the late 1900s, men in government service have already been entitled to 15 days of paid paternity leave, but in the private sector, this is not mandatory. Indian men seem furious over Maneka's opinion and justification. Most Indian families are turning into a nuclear setup, and at this day and age, Indian men say that they have an equal part or more to play in the initial days of the newborn. And so the demand for a 4-week paternity leave. Will Maneka Gandhi go back on her words and grant Indian men their due? A News 9 report.
Well, you heard what Maneka Gandhi had to say. Experts say, though, involvement of a father is quite essential for raising a child. But do you think men deserve 4 weeks of paid leave in India? Share your views with us on News 9. Call us on 00236030205. Coming back to speaking about whether or not Indian men deserve paternity leave of 4 weeks as against 15 days that is given out in organised setups, at least in government departments, government services. Joining us, we have our very own Men's Right and CRISP founder. We have Kumar Jagirdar joining us. We also have Men's Right activists. Also, we have Debjyoti Das joining us. Thank you, sir. We have Joyce Jaiseelan, a family counsellor, joining us on the panel. But I'll first ask Debjyoti. I won't get to Kumar Jagirdar before you. Do you think Maneka Gandhi's statement was frivolous at all? Have we shown any intent as men to really ask for 4 weeks of paternity leave?
I mean, it's a completely regressive statement. I mean, it doesn't belong to this century to start with. You know, I can talk of my own case, right? I was the first person to hold my child once he was born. I insisted that I be in the labor room. You know, I was actually ready to move to some other hospital if they didn't allow me in the labor room to start with. Okay, that's where it all started. I was the one who stayed on as the caregiver for not only my child, but also my wife during the time we were in the hospital. You know, once we went home, I mean, there's nothing I did not do. I mean, the child would be on the crib beside me, beside my side of the bed, and every time 2.5, 3 hours in the night he would, you know, cry for food. I would pick him up, hand him over to my wife. You know, I would help her, you know, sit down on the bed, push pillows behind her. You know, she would have a problem holding the child, you know, with the hand not being supported. So I would put pillows under her arm, right? Once the child has had his feed, I would take him up, you know, put him to sleep, get him onto the crib. I mean, I would bathe him. I mean, changing of diapers is a cliche, you know. Yeah. Everyone does it. Right. Okay. And you know,
really?
So it's
everyone does it?
See, believe me.
Most of the people
Absolutely.
Haven't you seen a lot of Indian men refrain from it?
See, there are good parents, there are bad parents, right? Now, thing is,
you know, men who don't do it are not necessarily bad parents, but they just somehow don't think of it as their responsibility, because that's imbibed in them through generations in India. It's not their fault entirely.
See, that is what conditioning has done to all of us to think in that particular way. Maybe that was true 30 years back, 40 years back, 50 years back, right?
Yeah.
But as of today, believe me, men like me are not an exception, or fathers like me are not an exception. They are much more a reality if you really look into the rooms, into the bedrooms, into where children are once they get home from the hospital. I mean, men like me are pretty much, something that you find everywhere in every home.
No doubt. I think lately, at least in the urban setup with men traveling, Indian men are now traveling across the globe. So they understand the importance of, shared parenting. They know that involvement of a father is absolutely necessary for a wholesome development of a child. And they are a little bit sensitive to it. And I think attachment to the children is growing a lot more because we are getting into a more nuclear setup, at least in this day and age. So I totally agree with you that, Indian men have changed. They've evolved. We're talking about 40 years back when men didn't involve in raising a child. But now at this day and age, you change your diaper, you change their diapers, you help their parents. Well, the mother's getting up at 100 intervals in the night. You're also awake with the mother. So all that said and done, do you think when women don't have a stand as yet, a strong standing here, when it comes to maternity leave, we had to fight so much. Do you think men deserve it so easily? 4 weeks of paternity leave, isn't there some sort of intent that we need to show? Or an expression of need that we really need it? I don't think.
Okay, what I'm going to start with is, I work in an MNC and I did have 5 days of leave. I did not stay for 5 days at home to look after the child. I did take not sick leave, like the minister said, the honorable minister said, but I did take vacation, earned vacation that I had. I utilized that and stayed at home to be with my child, right?
So that's exactly what. That's exactly the kind of person that Maneka Gandhi is looking for. I wish she'd met you.
But she
But
has,
you're saying, she can't generalize, no doubt.
She can't generalize. She has people like me. She only has to look, right? That has to be done. I mean, no one is more blind than someone who doesn't wish to see.
Correct. Her justification has not gone down well with too many men, quite obviously even with you. And I think saying that generalizing all men to be taking paternity leave lightly and using that as an opportunity for another holiday is unfair for the men, justified. Mr. Kumar Jagirdar, if you can, decode what Maneka Gandhi meant, and do you feel insulted?
Of course, it has inserted, the fatherhood itself. Talking so rightly about, we are responsible parents. The father and mother, there's not much difference. Both are equally, love the children so much. And in the nuclear families today, it is not the joint family system has gone long back. Today, in the cities, which is 40% of the country is urban population. So when there is no joint family system, there is no support,
Correct. No help, no support.
Yeah. So the spouse has to take care. There is no other go. You can't depend on servants for everything. And today's dads, get involved, from the date of the wife conceiving, from that stage, going to the hospitals, the entire pregnancy, physically maybe, of course, the women suffer, but mentally the men suffer, as much as the women. So, of course, today we have to understand and appreciate the responsibility, and nobody is complaining. The wives are very happy, the husbands are taking care. I don't know why Maneka Gandhi has got a problem. And maybe she's unfortunate, maybe she didn't get whatever she wanted. But, today if you can see, in any mall you can see, the dads are carrying their children and walking around.
Right.
The lady is busy shopping.
Right.
Okay, this is the involvement of today's scenarios. And we can also understand that, the 2 weeks is not enough. What she is offering, the 2 weeks, it is absolutely not possible.
15 days has been on since 1990s.
No, that is absolutely.
But only in government, only government
by the
services
time they come from the hospital to the house itself, it takes for 1 week. Then another 1 week is not going to help anyway.
Correct.
So okay, and it is not just taking care in the environment, for the entire. The child can smell the father. I have got a 2 months child. Okay, the child knows the voice of the father. Okay, the bonding of the father-child relationship is so precious for normal child growth.
Correct.
It is
going by experts and counselors, we understand that just looking at the father needn't really do much. He doesn't really have to wipe the poop or do anything at all.
No,
just
why you are feeling like
inside.
that? The father actually does,
But doing it is different. I'm saying just having the father inside for the child is a big deal.
The support system of the child is being given, is a caregiver. Okay, the father is, when the mother can't even walk, properly at that stage, especially cesarean is so common nowadays.
Correct.
It takes 6 weeks to, get adjusted.
That's true.
So in that situation, this at least the paternity leave, my good friend has taken vacation leave. That is not fair. The government should understand. In fact, in other countries, countries like Norway, 60 days, Sweden, 70 days, Iceland, 120 days.
Absolutely.
Okay, and in fact, they give some funds also for if you produce a child, the government gives them grants.
Yeah, correct.
And
Well, India is clearly out of the 78 countries who give paid maternity leave and benefits to their employees, even in private setup. So we're 28 other countries are doing it, but we're lagging behind. And we call ourselves matching up to.
When Maneka Gandhi made such a bad statement about fathers cannot take care, they go on holiday, which is out our sentiments, we did a diaper protest near the Alsur Lake,
right,
and sent the diapers to Honorable Minister to prove that we are taking care of the children. At least let her understand. Also, we have got a online petition, which thousands of fathers have already signed. To tell that minister that please don't make such statements which hurts the 50% of the population.
Correct.
Okay, and you should be careful before making statements like that. And it's not a joke. Coming in the way of father-child bonding, is not this thing. And when their territory they are kept so nicely, the WCD ministry, they don't allow 1 inch of the men to take over.
Yeah.
Whereas our territory of going to the office and taking care of this thing, they want everything.
Right.
So this is feminism, which we are condemning.
But you know what? At the end of it, she came out with she said she justified for her statement. She said, Indian men has never shown the.
How does she know that?
She has never shown intent.
Maybe that's her opinion. But if you take the gender today's, why 30-40 years back men are different? That is a different generation. The present day dads are very responsible dads, throw the children so much, and now 1 or 2 children only at best. Nobody is having dozens of children like before.
Correct.
Okay, so they want to enjoy the the parenthood. So why should somebody say such drastic remarks on 50% of the population?
Well, she says take your sick leave and go take care of your child. You start with that, and then we'll think about granting your paternity leave.
When we are doing so much this thing and for nation building, are we not entitled for 30 days leave at least? 15 days is not enough. That's what we are fighting. We want 30 days paid leave.
And 15 days is granted only in government setups, like we said.
What about private sectors?
Not private setups.
Government maybe 5 to 10% of the population. The working
Private
class.
setups
The
don't even
90%
consider
are
it.
working in the MNCs and private. Correct. They don't get any leave. Even for 1 or 2 days also they don't get.
Right.
So who will take care of the wife and child? When especially in the singers, the families are so small now. The child is suffering, the mother is suffering, and it's a human problem. They have to understand, appreciate. In fact, when men come forward to take care of their wife and child, why they are saying you cannot take care? Why they are feeling like that?
Well, it's because of a general notion, right? But she is reinforcing stereotypes, no doubt, because we're talking about equality at this day and age, and she says that men don't deserve it in very subtle
okay,
words.
That's a very bad statement.
Yeah.
Men don't deserve it.
Yeah, she's not said deserve it, but I'm saying in as many words she's meant that they're irresponsible and they don't deserve it because they go on a holiday for that.
That's very bad. That's why we did a protest to tell her that.
But can you really blame her for that statement?
She is the WCD minister. In
right.
fact,
she has responsibility as a minister, but women thinking that way, can you blame them?
No, she's also Minister of Children, Women and Child Development Minister.
Correct.
She's speaking on behalf of children.
Correct.
And children and father bonding, she should not come in the way. So who is going to talk about the problems of the children now? Children need the father. Children are missing out the father. They want the fathers around. The wife wants the husband around. And Maneka Gandhi is not happy about it. So
she's not. I think she'll be the first one to applaud if at all there's a change like that.
We are more than willing to take care, and we are not allowed to take care of our
problem. Somehow she doesn't seem to know. Being the Minister for Child and Women Welfare.
She has to look like our citizens, we are educating her on this. We are by way of petition, protest and
Correct.
other
Yeah,
things.
maybe those
Yeah.
initiatives would
Yeah.
have, you know.
We are doing it. Nationwide, we have got
you
groups.
could have done it even before she made a statement. Maybe be a
No,
little
she
more.
is making this sort of funny statements when the day she became a minister in different ways. Like men are responsible for all crimes. You know, she made a general statement like that. As the woman, crime cannot be gender
Why
specific.
you think she has something against?
So we are so fed up of her. We have written to our Prime Minister Modi ji also to drop her because immediately, because she is not good for the, you know, our culture is being disturbed by this sort of statements each time. And to encourage the father is more important, not to condemn them.
Well, her statement is also quite threatening, not just for the, well, it's not just insulting for the men, it somehow is threatening for the women even.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because you're completely throwing gender equality out of the box.
Yes.
There's, you know, she's clearly saying that men can't do it, only women can do it. And
Give opportunity, no. Without giving opportunity, you tell men are useless people. First, give opportunity.
But she's saying first, show me the intent, show me
Arre,
the expression of need, and
we
show me Indian men, show me that you really, you know, deserve paternity leave. If you haven't done it for that many years, you know, if you haven't done it for that many years, why would you want it now?
I
So
mean, how
is there a
They are going on, especially as a lactation consultant and family counselor.
Right.
From the conception, baby needs the cuddling of the father. As soon as the baby is born, you just look at the baby. They will look at father's face so wide, opening the eyes. It's nothing but the baby can able to sensitize father's voice. And after delivery also, mother is not only giving the breastfeeding the nutrients, she's also adding the bonding into it. That bonding comes from father and mother.
Right.
Baby psychology is very wide. We may talk so much, baby don't know anything. Baby can able to sensitize so well. They need both of them to be together. And when the single nuclear family is there, baby's bonding has to be developed by both.
father and
both
mother?
from
Correct.
father
At
and
least
mother.
the initial days of the newborn is very important.
Very, very
Yeah.
important.
And
At least
like you
that.
said, even if they don't understand the smell, the sense of, you know.
very well.
They do
At the-
understand.
They do
They
understand.
can
babies,
register the
they
face
do
of the
understand.
father. Yeah.
It's from 24 weeks onwards, baby will suck, swallow, synthesize, and you go see the scanning when they do it so beautifully. Baby will be smiling. When father voice is there, they will just do this. And nights when fathers are, because babies will sleep in the day, wake up in the night in the tummy. So in the night when the father's voice is there, they'll just, quicken and all these things happens.
Wow.
It's not, it's called the fetology or the language of the baby. Many are not known about it. Once if we know, from that time the father will be, clinging on to the baby. It's beautiful process. It's not that we created. It's a creator's wonderful things.
But I think, you always assume the child to be closer to the mother because the mother is carrying them for 9 months. You have so much of a bond.
Fair enough.
Also
We are
with
not
father.
objecting
So
to that.
but
But father
why
is-
do we think fathers may not be so attached? Is that a misconception?
Misconception, no doubt
Yeah.
about it. There is a
No
pakka
doubt.
there is a pakka
Sometimes
misconception.
Conditioning. It's conditioning by
It's
society for the past so
fathers
many
will
years.
sleep. We can see in our hospital, mother will be sleeping in one bed, father will cuddle the baby and sleep next to the baby because baby is crying too much, mother needs rest. Now these are all comes only with the what's the responsible parenthood program when we conduct during antenatal periods itself, to be father, to be mother, and we have usually conduct the program. It's a beautiful play they will do, how to change the nappy, how to pacify the mother, and how to carry the baby. We used to practice, and fathers will be so happy to go through. These are the things which is happening today because nuclear family needs this. Others where the children will go.
I
Today
think even without these programs, men are seem
Of
to be aware
course.
because you have everything online. You're traveling, you're seeing the world. You're so
And,
on par with global standards in every
Even
way. So
Yeah,
how are we
father,
lacking
In
in
this
any?
world of internet, they can just visit
Even-
a site and understand all this. There's so many YouTubes.
Correct.
And also,
Yeah.
most of the moms, go through this post-natal depression.
Correct.
So,
Okay, so
drivers.
that is a very important stage, when the husband has to be like a mother for the wife, to take care of the wife.
And-
So at that sort of situation, he has to go to the office and listen to the boss and follow this thing, go in the traffic. Who will take care of the wife and
Not
child?
only
The entire
that.
family suffers. And that period, if the wife is not overcoming the problem of depression, the entire lifetime she
Yes.
will suffer. And with that, the child will suffer. So there is a very
Especially-
important thing is this paternity leave.
especially
But then in that
postpartum.
case, going by what you're saying, is 4 weeks enough?
especially
At
postpartum
least 4 weeks,
depression.
because they're not in
4 weeks.
understanding.
Let's
When
start
we
with
ask
4
for
weeks.
1,000 rupees, they will give at least 500 rupees. If you ask for 500 rupees, they give 10 rupees. This is the problem.
Especially the
Do you want-
postpartum
Yes, ma'am.
depression can able to cover up only when the husband is there. Even when mothers are there, they won't be so comfortable. When the husband comes home, they come out of it very soon. That's
Yes.
one.
They relate
And
to the
secondly,
husband.
even a driver, a coolie worker comes after 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, they'll wake up the baby, they see the baby, they cuddle the baby, then go to sleep. You know, these are the things happening now. We cannot say no, village people are not happening. They are bonded to that because it's nuclear family. Those days they never used to bother, but today it is happening in a very high percentage. I can even.
Absolutely, no doubt. I think for me, for myself, personally speaking, I've seen all the fathers around me being, so attached to the kids. But I can't necessarily say that I've seen all the ones around me changing diapers, ensuring that they're up when the mothers are up. Well, they may be around the house, but they're not completely sharing the responsibilities. I doubt. I beg to differ on that because I myself haven't seen it. But you're saying that as parents,
It's very common because
Yeah.
of small families today that the fathers has to get involved because there is no other go. We can't depend on the
Yeah.
servants.
But involvement, when you say involvement, what kind of involvement? Let's involve Roshni Pereira here, a women's rights activist. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Roshni, if you can tell us, well, Maneka Gandhi was quite brash when she made a sweeping statement generalizing all men to take paternity leave as an opportunity to another holiday. Well, Indian men lashed back. They say that, don't call us irresponsible. We are as responsible as the mothers are, and we deserve paternity leave. From 15 days, they want 4 weeks. They want an entire month. Well, these men say that they absolutely deserve it. Do you really think men in India are completely involved in bringing up their children? Like, I'm saying being around is different, but being involved is different.
They are. The trends were always there. They were very caring men in India. It's not that Indian men are negligent, but we never
Not
had
about
a
negligence. It's this habit of thought
Mindset.
where you say it's a mindset that's cultivated over centuries. I think in India that women take care of it. It's not a bad thing, and they're not a bad father, but it's just that the women take care of it. The diapers, the milk feeding, the waking up in the nights, all of it, women take care of it. I'll be around. You want me to go get something from the store? I'll go and bring it back. I'll be around.
Abroad there are many clinics like the Pilates clinic, etc. When the woman is going through pregnancy, the fathers actually come and assist their wives to do those exercises and tone their muscles and things like that. So the men are very much involved with the women's whole pregnancy period, and then the post delivery time also is important. So there are schools or little organizations run to train men. Men by nature just cannot fit into this kind of role automatically, though they do in the villages we've seen. But in the urban area, there are many little places, NGOs running to train men, and so it's important.
But how many men know, or how many men have the intent to get trained?
Yeah. But if they, I am for the idea of this paternity leave, and so if granted, when it is granted, men will jolly well learn to use this time for the purpose it's meant for.
Correct.
And therefore, it's all about training, and men need to be trained. If they're not going to have the natural instinct, then they need to be trained.
Correct.
So we are looking at a.
So maybe a message from Maneka Gandhi that all men please go through these courses, or
Yes,
those sensitization
That is
programs.
that is
Maybe
proactive.
that would
Yes,
be
yes.
a little more appraising for
Yes, yes.
for the benefit of this cause, right?
I just
Instead of
want
saying that y'all are anyway going to use it as a holiday opportunity, so never mind. That is condemning the
cut
opposite
out
sex
the
entirely.
LTA, the leave travel allowance time, the LTCs that they have, and put it for the paternity leave. There's always a way to work out a leave for men who are,
There are ways to work it out. Maneka Gandhi's statement has really, made a hole in the hearts of a lot of.
It's good that society is debating this topic now.
Yeah.
Now, whatever she has done, though it is not proper.
Now
but
we
at
have the
least there is a
social
debate.
media. Thankfully,
There is a
everybody
debate
goes
going on.
online to
Yes, yes.
troll her. They're all trolling her, saying that you're calling us irresponsible. You think we don't deserve it. You should come home and see what kind of
Yes.
involvement
In fact,
we have. But all that is coming from the social media audience. But what about rest of India? You say that we're totally ready.
And
We
I
are
have never been
definitely,
trained.
the men in India
See, that's
definitely
the-
are seeking their rights, especially in the family, in the marital setup. Marital laws, we know, are tilted towards the woman.
Yes.
And I've said this over again, that 54 legislations are written for the women in the country. So, and men don't have any kind of, rights. So it's high time that their voices are heard, and I ask the men to go ahead as far as this is concerned, because it's important. The women also need their men to hang around when they're going through such a difficult, immobile phase.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying, right? Time and again, it's just about hanging around or involvement. The involvement is less.
And moreover, mammals, you take all the mammals, about 3,700 mammals.
Correct.
Any mammal can able to go away from the female when they are giving birth. They beautifully come and be. This is all designed by nature. But why human being is being separated like this? That's my question.
See, and like I said, I have never been to a training program. Everything happened naturally with me.
Correct.
I mean, no one taught me how to bond with my child and how to care for
That's
him and how
right.
to do things
That's
for him.
right. Beautiful.
It happened automatically. I mean, I fell in love with him the moment I saw him on the sonography.
Yeah.
I didn't have to wait for him to be born. I mean,
Yeah.
believe me.
This is
That's
the
so sweet.
this is-
Yeah.
this is
I think
what-
it's absolutely natural, and men not wanting it is not just limited or restricted to India. I think it could be anywhere in the world where men have their paternity leave but still treat it as a holiday. Well, it's not just subject to India, right? I think that's how we should look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not just Indian men. Maybe the small portion of men across the globe are not very attached.
That way
That's their problem.
Their mothers also were not responsible. So can we generalize our mothers are not,
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
There
You're
are
right.
exemptions for everything. So they may be irresponsible dads. We're not denying that.
Yeah.
But we are telling today, the children, one or two only each family has got. So when this, what difference it makes whether it's 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks in one career of 30-35 years to give holiday, paid holiday. So for that, in fact, they have to encourage in the interest of family is most important unit. With good family, you have a good nation. So the bonding of the family is very important for nation building. In fact, we should take that and educate these ministers about all this, then educating the fathers, because the ministers are not aware of certain things, what's happening, in the today's world. So the ministers have to take a course because they are not experts.
Ministers have to take a course. Okay.
So this is what it is, and this is very sensitive subject. And to degrade the fatherhood, telling that you Feroz
Yeah,
are West
generalizing
Feroz.
the father is
And
not right.
that was, and we demanded an apology actually. So far she has not come forward. Okay, we demand apology openly. We written to her also that you should be careful before making such statements. And it is also the children how important it is for their future, because they are the future of the country. For ensured bonding is very important. Both the parents are equally needed for the child. And to say that it is the duty of the mother, you Feroz don't have any work, they may not be in a position to demonstrate. That doesn't mean they don't love the children. Okay, so
They don't know how to demonstrate.
They don't know how to demonstrate. Because as
Maybe in some cases. I mean,
yeah,
Again, not generalizing.
Yeah. So certain people, men by nature, women are very emotional.
Yeah. Well, one thing's for sure, women talk about everything that they do. They their whole parental instincts are they're very vocal about it.
Yes.
They love their kids.
Yes.
They're very affectionate.
Yes.
But like you said, men may not show it so
Yes,
much.
that's
but what
not the
they
difference.
feel-
But the
Yeah.
love and affection for the children is the same.
Same.
Whether father or mother is equal. So when everything rights and duties should go together.
All right. Women literally go through 6 months or 3 months of paternity leave, maternity leave,
26 weeks is not 3 months. It is 6.5 months.
6.5 months now, but
Yeah.
I'm saying initially they would get paid for 3 months, right? Getting paid for 3 months, and then they would take leave for the next 3 months,
It's
unpaid
extendable.
leave, and
It's
they're okay to
extendable.
do it
Yes,
because
yes.
they have no other choice. But so this comes as a great relief for all the women. But are we really ready? Is it time that we need to have paternity leave for
Yes.
men too immediately with immediate effect?
Is
With
a father,
immediate effect.
but is not a father better than an ayah or a nanny?
Not at all. Yeah,
Isn't
of course,
it?
better
So-
than an ayah or a nanny.
So when that is the case, the father's role is very important. We have to appreciate and see that the bonding is perfect because it comes out of natural love and affection, whereas a nanny comes for money and a salary. So we should encourage fatherhood. and see that, you know, the initial days, and because the child is missing out, it can't talk. Where is the father's voice today or not heard? It may be thinking,
Yeah.
the little one, but it cannot talk about it.
Right.
So that is the voice we have to respect.
Today, in every
You know, they
school-
say when the father's just being around, you don't even have to be so involved. Just being around, watching TV, just the kid looking at the father itself is reassuring.
Yeah.
That itself helps in, you know, wholesome development of the child's mind, his personality, all of it.
All that.
Right?
Especially
I'll quickly
in
come to you, ma'am. After we taken a caller, we have Mr. Jain, Subhash Jain calling in. Well, we'll connect back to him. Yes, Ms. Joyce.
Yes, when we go to school, especially now, all the schools will be having school counselors.
Yeah.
Why? Those days it wasn't. Now it has been. And when we go as a school counselor, when I go and speak, even the small children of second, third, fourth standard, when we go ahead, when there is a problem, we go back to their history. This history will show how was father and mother during their birth. You know, during pregnancy itself, we'll take the history. How was your pregnancy and how was the after birth? So when we see that there is a problem during after delivery, the father mother is not bonding, especially yelling at each other. When father is yell at each other and mother, the baby, you know, comes into tears also sometimes.
Absolutely.
These are
When
all,
the parents are
these
fighting,
all
you know, it's
contributes. These are all
100%
contributes.
traumatic to the kids.
That's
And
right. So these are, once the father is cuddling and being with the baby initially, these traumas can able to reduce. These are very, very important that father should be with the baby and continue talking with them, you know, teaching with them. These teachings never forget.
See,
And
nature,
they won't forget. Yeah, whatever they learn at their younger days. And
nature has provided two parents, one father and mother. Let's appreciate and you know, give respect to both the parents, because the father is doing his you know, upbringing in his way, you know, he is suitable. The mother does it in her own way and her style, and at the end the child is the beneficiary. So when that is the nature, you know, has made this sort of this thing, we should give our equal opportunities. We should not you know, discourage people from taking care of their own children, and you know, making.
I think if she grants paternity leave, 4 weeks of paternity leave, a lot more men will be actually. They don't
Involved.
even need to get to courses. They
cannot adjust to their vacation
They
days.
will have that
Activate their
desire. Yeah,
instincts,
you know
yeah.
what? This is
No,
allotted for me. Maybe I should get involved.
The sick,
Activate the
they are not
instinct.
sick
Yeah.
to take a sick leave, actually. Okay, they want to do the work. So applying for sick leave or casual leave or something is not fair, because we have to respect that father also, because he is he's a breadwinner. He is doing so much for the
That's
family, and you know, what for is this thing for the sake of the family, and we should, maybe the single woman who opt for some surrogacy and other things, that is a different subject. But here even we are talking about normal families, that you know, the father and mother go together, and you know, we have to appreciate and compliment each other, and then only the family will be good.
Well, you know, all that said and done, but they say, you know, is it mandatory that a legislation be passed just to accommodate when there is absolutely no expression of need by Indian men? Now that Maneka Gandhi spoke about it for women being granted of 26 weeks, now all of the men are out there saying that we want our equal share, we want our equal
Because
share.
we
Do you think
fought-
that's more of an
Thank God.
ego issue again there, or is it more?
She's actually provoked the men of the
Yes.
country.
Okay.
And,
We are thanking her now, so-
and even now, if
Now-
they still keep quiet, it will amount to negligence.
No, today, I mean, 2 days back, she made another statement that she is not meant that way. Now she has given a rejoinder. She is telling I will come out with a more sophisticated paternity bill. That at least we are happy she has understood.
What are the provisions in this
that
more
I don't know full
sophisticated,
details.
more sophisticated?
See, that's what she has
That
told.
is a mystery sophistication that.
I don't know what. We only hope that she will not cut off that 15 days also.
She no, well, that's impossible. She can't be possibly doing that. She has a responsibility as a Minister for Child and Women Welfare. So then we're hoping, okay, so what is it that you're saying that it should be granted with immediate effect, or
With immediate effect, and it need not be taken all together, even if it could be spaced out. That would make sense, because you know, all 1 month together sitting over there would is not really what's needed. If it could be spaced out across the, you know, maybe 6 months and 3 months or
Yeah.
whatever.
So you need 4 weeks at least. You're saying.
Yes.
More the
minimum
better.
4
That's
weeks.
right.
So at least
Minimum, yeah.
can you extend further? 6 weeks, something like that. But minimum should be 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Because that is a very critical stage. When
Now, in cases of adoption, surrogacy, we also understand
Yeah.
that then the women are granted a few lesser weeks of leave, right? Then is there any provision for that?
that
Well, those are out of the natural ambit,
Yeah.
and we are right now talking about the natural,
Natural
family, the natural family, and these would be other, what do you call addendum laws, So that would be
They're bonuses, if at all. Right. Okay. Finally, as we come to a close, I'd like a small word of advice to Maneka Gandhi for her upcoming bill, more revised and sophisticated bill of for paternity leave.
she has to talk to the people and speak also to the fathers and understand what actually is going on in the ground reality, and listen to experts, and then come out with a very equal sort of caregiving. So we as fathers, minimum 4 weeks, at least 6 weeks is expected in the so-called sophisticated bill which is coming out, so that there will be a balance, in the fulfilling our duties.
Well, absolutely. Well, you need the mother and the father equally involved for the wholesome development of the child. A word of advice from you, and for all of the women who are out there, maybe thinking that Indian men are again overreacting. They don't do much really, and then they want their leave for another holiday possibly. Who are backing Maneka?
No, it's not an overreaction at all, and I think all of us have made our points. The sort of recommendation to the minister would be that look, see what is happening in today, in today's world. I mean, don't be in the other century, live today, and just actually try and figure out what is happening, right? From a primary caregiver, one fine day I become a visitor in my child's life, but that's a different issue altogether, right? With 3 hours of access to him in a week. So please look, and you'll find things which you possibly are not too well aware of, but you need to imbibe and work accordingly.
You need to imbibe. It's about time. Why are we lagging behind when 78 countries is giving all their men paternity leave along with government benefits? So why are we lagging behind, Miss Joyce? If you can, stress upon the need for why they should have it.
First of all, we should build up a good, healthy family. To have a good, healthy family, the bonding should be there. This bonding starts from the conception of the baby. So from there, the responsible parenthood starts from there. If they could able to build up, sanction this leave, it will be really good. All men will be changed, those who are not done this also, because there is privilege for them to build up. That will be really great when they do this.
Right. I think
And you were talking about the hormones also. Can you just explain?
And especially the hormones in the mother, the oxytocin and prolactin hormones, they are more produced when the bonding is there. The oxytocin hormone is one of the psychosomatic hormone. If the father is away, mother is having negative things which is coming, it will suppress. So if the father is with them and baby is taken care well, this happiness itself can able to produce very good milk. So this milk production also, there is foremilk and hind milk. This hind milk only will put on so much of protein and fat in the baby, with the baby's weight will increase. And the hind milk can able to put on. Foremilk always quench the thirst of the baby. These are beautiful things which goes on. These two hormones to develop, where there is lot of support from the family members are first is husband.
So if when the husband is around, the mood, you're saying the mood, your mood swings of the mother can completely affect the health of the baby.
Happy hormones will be triggered. That will in
Good
fact
health.
give
Happy
the
hormones,
output,
good
the
health.
output of the milk
If the
and the
mother is
quality
sad,
of the milk.
and most often if the
Yes.
husband's not around, the mother is
naturally.
automatically feeling a
Because
little.
as a lactation consultant, when I see, where's your husband, I'll usually find. They said, no, husband is not. Then the milk production will be less and she'll be suffering. Then the time husband comes and she'll be so cheered up and we can see no problem in feeding. Baby urine output is very good. That shows more milk is producing. These are the things we have experienced. Why? Father, because of the father.
See.
Father is the creator, there to be, you know.
Hats off to
That
Joyce,
sounds
you know,
so
she is
beautiful,
educated
you know, but I don't think
beautifully.
people really
and
know
you know,
about
I think you can talk to Maneka Gandhi, an educator
and
on
you know
this,
what, that's where
because
we
it's very
really
important.
respect-
We sent a
that's
CD
where we
of this
really
program.
respect the Indian
no, we
setup.
sent a CD of this
I
program.
completely-
I will take the initiative to send a CD of this
I
program.
completely agree with what Joyce said, because when I was carrying my little fellow 17 years back, I was in Joyce's care. So, you know, I have such a happy fellow now, because that even if we make him sad now, the two of us put together, he's happy, because he was happy 9 months. You know, that kind of thing. And when my little fellow was delivered in St. John's, Joyce was there right through to advise us and how
Yeah.
to, and you know, both of us went through training with her. So whatever she says is very true, and so it's so important that 9 months and that post delivery time also, you know, the early phase is important for the child, and the father's constant presence in his life is mandatory.
Right. You just said, just the smell of it, just the look
voice
of the father, the
the-
voice of the father
You
is
can
good
recognize.
enough.
You
Yeah.
can recognize the voice of the father, the smell,
Body
what we
smell.
call the body sense. You know, everything is very much there. It's proven theories. And you know, such important thing, you know, cannot be missed out. And the child welfare is paramount. Okay, when she being the minister not only of women, she is our mandate is women and children. Doesn't mean she can ignore the children and only talk about women's rights.
Correct.
Okay, she should also be a responsible minister and listen to people like
But
Joyce.
when she's speaking about women and children, she's got
And
to have
when
the men
the
involved.
knowledge Joyce has got should not be wasted.
Yeah.
I know I you know, appeal to News 9 to send a copy of this, whatever we have spoken, and you know, we are to
Sure, we're
talk
just
to
hoping, we're hoping
Yes.
that she's watching us live
Yes.
as of now, that you know, that we're speaking. But you know, speaking about the Indian family setup, it's so beautiful because we give so much importance and value
That's
to
right.
family bonding. We're speaking about, you know, marriage. Marriage is so, it's of prime importance. You know, when PV Sindhu won her her medal, the most Googled word was her caste. So there, everybody is trying to, basically, when you're looking at caste, you're obviously looking for marriage, right? So, you know, people in India are so into getting married, who's the right guy, who's the right girl. So family is so important to them, then how come Maneka Gandhi overlooked all of that bit? You know, because fathers are part of the family. So
Yes.
if you don't give Indian men their due, then I don't think any other men in the world deserve it. Indian men are more
without anything,
sensitive to families.
without anything to this thing, she was unfortunate to lose Sanjay Gandhi when Varun Gandhi was very young, you know. Maybe she missed out on seeing the father's love, you know. Maybe this is her own experience. So this, we feel sad for her, but she cannot generalize that, you know, that fathers are, even if they're waste fellows. The child is very much, basic requirement is father and mother equally. And nobody can stop this. This is nature. As Joyce Madam, even mammals, the animals, what coaching they will have. It's a natural instinct to take care of children. And you know, when the animals can do it, why can't we, human beings, you know, understand this? And in this internet age, you know, it is not such a big rocket science, you know. Love and affection for the children, you know, to understand.
No, in this internet age, it's so easy to learn how to change the diapers. I'm sure
Yeah.
men do it better than the women.
That's right.
No,
That's right.
the patience
No,
today's men have
it's-
got, the patience, tons of patience today's men have got, you know, to take care of the wife and children, the family.
Correct.
Cannot be, you know, undermined and told, you fellows are waste fellows. You know,
If I could just add to that, nowadays nappies and are all coming with little chips, and those will be connected to the mobiles. So if the nappies have got wet and things, even the fathers will know because it comes on the mobile.
Oh, gosh.
So they don't need any natural instinct anymore. They
my
just
God.
need an extra pair of hands, and it's mandatory that they are around.
Now imagine you have a robot to replace that.
So
No,
if the
no.
if the nappies are wet and if they are all pooped up, then the fathers will get a tinker in their mobiles.
That's crazy. You know, that's really crazy. You said it's not just about changing nappies. There's a lot more to that. When you say a lot more, what do you mean?
When I say a lot more, what do I mean? I mean, bathing the child. I mean, when you have a child which is less than 3 months old, it's so fragile. You have to be very careful when you're bathing the child. I did it either with my wife or myself all the time. Right? Bathing him, taking him out in the morning. He would sleep every 2 hours. He would be away for half an hour, and then he would go back to sleep for again 2 hours. So in the morning, I would take him out for a walk to my terrace. You know, I would just sit there till he goes to sleep. Then get him down to his crib and put him. there's so much. I mean, it's involvement, it's everything. I mean, there's nothing you cannot do and you should not do. There's everything.
But you know, whatever you're speaking of, bathing, all of that, right? That comes maybe after, when the child is 2 years old, when the child is able to stand. No, I'm assuming. I'm just asking you. I may be wrong, sir. I may be wrong. But I'm asking you. It's easier for the men to bathe the child when they're of that age because they're scared to handle them when they're younger, isn't it?
See, the foreign countries, the child care, is so costly. Even software engineers are not making so much money than the one who gives the child care, the nanny.
Yeah. Babysitters are mighty expensive.
1 hour, so much dollars. Okay, so everybody cannot afford it. Okay, and they're so costly also. So it is automatically when the economics come, it becomes a necessity for the father also to take care of their own children, and he better do it also. And there's nobody can replace the father's love and affection. Okay, mother, of course, mother and father together can do the best upbringing, and it is also good for the child and also good for the. We can say.
No, but the reason why I asked is when you're saying paternity leave, you're obviously asking at the same time when your wife is delivered, right? So when the baby is that young, how much of an involvement does the father have in bathing the child? Because the baby is so small.
I think you can tell him experience.
That's what I'm saying. See, I learned it at Malia. Like I said, I was in the hospital with my wife and child after he was born. He was born in the evening. That very night, the nurses taught me how to feed him. So every 2.5 hours, there would be some very little amount of liquid milk, which is Nan1. No, Nan1, because the milk was yet to come, right? Which I fed him every 2.5 hours, waking up in the night. I mean, that's how it started. Next day morning, the nurses taught me how to bathe him, right?
So there's the only one I can guarantee you. There are thousands of people in this thing. You don't fear that only Deb is the super dad. Okay, there are thousands of people like this. No, who are doing it.
Right.
and you're asking me what else needs to be done. Like I said, the very young child will have its feed every 2.5 hours. And it'll not be all the time that it'll feed from the mother directly. So you also have to supplement that food, that milk, mother's milk, with Nan1, right? Nan1 or whatever the other variants are.
Yeah.
So every time my child used to cry for that, I was the one who used to run and make that milk, heat the water, put in that powder, make the milk, and rush back to him.
Right.
So there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you want to do. Okay, and it all comes naturally.
Maybe awareness is lacking in India. Maybe men are not really aware that they could do a lot and they could be involved a lot more. Dev Jyoti is saying that he did all of that nitty-gritty details, but I'm sorry, ma'am.
You got a mindset. You got a mindset.
No,
you are not believing us.
I do.
You better
I
change
do
your
believe
mindset.
you. But you often see the men standing outside the hospital door. They're not sitting inside bathing the child or feeding the child. It's the nurse or the mother. Because there's a lack of awareness. It's not like they don't want to do. I think they think that they don't know how to do it. So they don't know how to do it. They won't do it.
It's a spontaneous only thing. Awareness is needed at the same time. Encouragement is needed. It is spontaneous without anybody's telling it. Automatically comes to the father. Only thing they won't allow some time. But nowadays, no, they are really training before that, and they are really going and doing beautifully. Not only the higher class, even to the village setup, illiterate people, they are doing, because they know when the need is there, they don't just keep quiet. Because nuclear family, even in village setup, you can see separate nuclear families are happening. Even they are doing. Even tribes, I have seen the tribes. Fathers taken care so well. They'll tie the baby at the back. Whenever you want, you feed the baby at the side.
Yeah.
These kind of things are happening. I can very well tell, because I'm in this field for the past 22 years as a lactation consultant. I can able to study so many wider that every human being has a tendency of going into it. But only thing, there is a blockage. Why? We think that men are not able to do. Men can able to do beauty.
Yes, this is the truth. And this is the honest statement I am making, that men are actually doing it, and I don't want any this thing from this. The fact is, give them the due. Let's encourage
I
them.
think whether men are doing it or not, well, you're saying men are doing it. I've seen men do it, but then also on the contrary, I don't think where we've seen men so responsible in India that we're like,
No.
It needs to be granted
No
with
way.
immediate
Maybe,
effect. But let's hope, Maneka Gandhi finds the need for granting paternity leave for 4
No, she
months.
has to be educated.
That instigates
She has no knowledge.
men. It instigates men to
No.
possibly
The problem
get more
is,
involved.
she has no knowledge. She has to talk to people like us.
Yeah,
and we are ready to go all the way to Delhi and sit and talk to her, educate her, Okay, we as NGO, we would take thousands of people opinion.
Right.
We filed a petition already. And this sort of things should be, because she maybe
You know what, the reaction that she's got for her comment, I think that's good enough.
She's in
I
a
think she'll know.
coterie. She's a coterie where only women rights activists are sitting around her. They're male haters. Okay, they don't want men to this thing. They know that men are doing it, but they don't want to give the compliment to the men. Okay, and they, in fact, the big hospitals like Fortis, Cloud9 and all, they give work. They train the fathers.
Yes,
the
yes,
workshops.
yes.
It is a package. For
Correct.
delivery package. If you take the entire 9 months, there's always one workshop once in a month. From the how to take care of the child, how to do help the mother to breastfeeding, and how to how to give bath. Everything is there in the package.
Correct.
So,
but
and thousands of
another thing that I also wanted to say was, like, we're all agreed, we're all in a nuclear setup, but Indian families are such that the moment suppose a lady gives birth to a child, the lady's mother, the husband's mother, the relatives, all of them are there, trying to take care of the baby. So the husband feels like he should stay back, he should step back and take, get whatever the family needs, but maybe not be involved. Like I said, being around and being involved is a huge difference, right? Let's quickly take in Mikey. We have Mikey on the phone line from Koramangala. Go on, Mikey.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Go on, Mikey.
Yeah, I want to tell something which is very personal, which has been in my mind for a very long time.
Yes, Mikey.
There is a group called PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals.
Right.
But there is no group for people for ethical treatment of people.
Correct. You're right.
So, yeah, that is the first thing. See, whoever is doing this, PETA, Maneka Gandhi, how can she treat people like they are not even animals?
You're saying
no, she was ex-animal. She was a minister of animal rights before. Maybe that continuing that.
Well, Mikey, what I gather from your end is that what Maneka Gandhi said was absolutely ridiculous, and you think that she doesn't, her statement really didn't speak of gender equality, while she's actually supposed to be enforcing that. She's enforcing stereotypes. If you really look at what she said, she's confirming the fact that Indian mindset.
In fact, she has done a good for us.
She's confirming the Indian mindset.
No, she has provoked the dads. We are made a very strong appeal and group, and we are educating, and systematically we are also doing our work.
Correct.
So this is good for this thing. We needed this sort of this thing. In fact, the big channels who have taken up this issue, the papa's love, is very important. Which now, by tradition, they are always supporting the women-centric cause.
Right.
Even those people have come forward and supporting us. That's what we are very kind.
I don't think, Mr. Jagirdar, I don't think men need any support from anybody.
The problem is the mindset. Mindset is our first enemy. Like
over here, I'm debating it because that's how it's supposed to be. But otherwise, honestly speaking, I think all our fathers have played active part in raising us.
That first 2 years, fathers have
my
cannot
question
take
was,
care. It's also not, even if the child is just born.
Yeah.
Okay, the fathers do take care, and even if the child is 2 kgs and at that time, it is very fragile. But the fathers know how to handle the child.
My only point of conversation was paternity leave first. As soon as the mother delivers the baby, that's when you want it. You're saying it should be split. That makes more sense.
It's spaced out because I can see women now, right now, they're making their husbands take leave because they want to go and get their scans done.
Correct.
And they prefer going with their spouses
keep it in parts.
Than going with a driver.
Parts.
So let it be spaced out, and, and because giving them one whole month together may end up in a nice holiday.
Yeah, if they give them one whole month, may turn out to be a holiday. But because initially, even I think it's the mother that does a lot more of it for the baby. I don't have a baby. Dev Jyoti, don't judge me. But it makes more sense if she gives out paternity leave and it's spaced out over 6 to 8 months. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We're only hoping that Dev Jyoti, for all that you've done for your baby, I'm sure a lot of men, all the men in India, all the fathers are doing it for their children, and I hope our amazing Minister for Child and Women Welfare, Maneka Gandhi, is listening to the pleas of all the men, and they ask they asked Menaka to grant them their due, and it's about time, because Indian men are no more, I can't say no more, I say Indian men are responsible enough, they are ready to babysit. How about that? Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for more news and updates on the other side.